Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unofficially Opinionated. I'm
Welcome back
Christian.
and Merry Christmas.
That's Nate.
Yes.
And this is our holiday
Yeah.
extravaganza.
Or happy holidays. There you go.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good
Yes.
stuff. I want to see, I
Yes.
want you guys to see what Nate's working with. So I'm going to put this up here so you can actually see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this background Nate's got. Look at this.
I'm not the best decorator, but I
I
was
mean,
really trying to. Oh, I see something fell down. That's because I was looking at my.
we
I was
can't
looking at my.
tell.
Yeah.
Look, the boys got lights and stuff and tinsel and a Magic the Gathering poster. I mean, it's amazing. It is
Yes.
amazing
Yes.
compared to what
Thank
I've
you.
got. I've got like this green screen looking thing. Um,
That's still very
yeah, I
festive
got a red,
and
but
my favorite
look,
color.
but I mean, I got the tinsel here. I
You
got
do.
this, so I can
Hmm.
show you. So this is actually a
Oh,
tie. And it's got like, it's like a chimney and Santa's at the top with like a elf
with his
falling in.
legs in your
Yes.
face.
I mean, hey, look, it's just a tie. Don't read too much into it. It's just just for fashion. Don't get confused.
It's all good. It's all good.
We're here to watch this
Oh,
cool movie called 8-Bit Christmas. Now,
yep.
why do we pick this movie? Because we're gamers. We're
Yep.
gamer guys. It's kind of the setup is around, kid trying to get the Nintendo back in the day. I know the feels. I
Yes.
eventually did get a Nintendo because one of my aunts gifted us one because
Oh,
my parents were like, can't afford that. Sorry.
right.
So
Yeah.
they get this one, and I had, I think, all of like 3 games, I think. One of
Yeah.
those being
Just.
Bible Adventures. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
You could be Noah gathering
I
animals, and you could
remember
like
that.
David would go gather
Oh,
sheep
I
and
must have played
stuff.
it on your Nintendo, I guess, because
I don't think
I
so. You must
no.
have had an emulator or something.
Maybe because I played that, but I never had Nintendo, so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, or maybe
Yeah, but
at Steve's. Maybe it was at Steve's actually.
right.
I don't know.
Probably. Yeah, he probably
Yeah.
still had that. But yeah. So, this is like right down our alley. It's not a
Yeah.
new movie this year, but it's new-ish, a couple years old. So we hadn't seen it yet.
No.
If you saw it, cool, watch it with us. If not, go back and watch it. It's
Yeah.
on Max right now, but I'm sure there's other places you can go grab it and have a look. So
Okay. So, Chris, your first console was a Nintendo, is
yep.
what you're saying?
My first
Okay.
console. Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So I had the Nintendo, and then it was nothing until I know I had a N64 was the next thing that I ever got in the house.
Right. Okay.
I know I had a Game Boy in there somewhere. I had a Game Boy
Didn't you have a
Color.
GameCube or no?
Never had a GameCube. No, didn't
Okay.
get a GameCube. So
So it was
after
something
the
else. Okay.
Nintendo 64, the next console I got was the Xbox 360, like way
Okay.
later.
My
Little bit of a
first
problem.
console was the first console I ever played on was, um, it is it was a TV all in itself. Like it was a
Hmm.
game all in itself. And the game it had on it was Joust. I
Oh
think it had
wow.
some other games on it. But it was green, right? Green screen. And then after that was an Atari, and then after that was a Nintendo. But the first game console that I ever owned was a for myself was a PlayStation, the PlayStation, what they call
Nice.
PlayStation 1 now. And yeah.
Ding ding ding. So if you hear that, it's me moving around. Don't be afraid. It's just a little jingle bell for you guys.
It does sound like a sleigh bell. Anyways,
Sleigh bell. Mm.
sleigh.
Slay. Look, quick side note for the Patreon people. I remember in maybe, I don't know, 3rd or 4th grade, but for some reason, you know how little boys are. We got obsessed with the word slay. And it was it was like everything was slay them and slay this. And like it was so ridiculous. But
Okay.
you know how you just get on a thing for a few weeks and everything is just slay and it's all so funny.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
wasn't
ours
slay
was
like
finish
now. It
them.
was slay like, like finish them. Not slay
Right.
like slay. It wasn't
Right.
that. Nah,
Slay.
I'm not gonna do it again. So I was gonna say, do it again. That was so funny. No. I had so many thoughts. I'm like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I
Listen,
not
you
do
just gotta do.
YOLO, whatever. It's the holiday season. Whatever that means.
Wow, good job. I mean, that
Okay,
was a good
well,
sleigh. I'm not gonna lie.
look. got this tinsel scarf thing. It's too much. It's too much.
You've already put
Oh,
your
you
wish in
said
for Santa,
when did
right?
this
I
movie come
sure
out?
have. I wrote a
I
list. I
think it's
checked it twice.
01.
Blackhawks
Oh,
fans around
one.
the world, fans
No, I'm sorry,
everywhere,
not
and
01,
I love
21.
this time of year.
Oh, I was gonna say,
He's
jeez.
like, that's not recent at
At
all.
all.
Like over 20 years ago. Like define recent.
That's okay. The pixelization.
Mom! Must be out running errands. Katie? Charlie?
Everyone's favorite straight gay
Why
man.
can't we visit
All right.
in Australia instead?
That is a huge house.
They always are.
Oh my
What am I
goodness.
The older I
supposed
get, the
to
more I'm
do?
like, man, these houses are so huge.
Right?
How'd they afford this?
Where do
On
they
that salary.
live? Right. They can't be in oh, look at the Nintendo.
Ta-da!
With the gun.
That's my Nintendo from when I was a kid.
It looks like Tupperware.
What?
Tupperware?
Ooh. You better
Come on, let's
stop
play.
I actually even know what
disrespecting.
Tupperware is.
What? I don't care. That is just rude. Like yeah.
Oh, first you have to do this.
Why?
Paper.
Oh,
I don't know, just...
oh, remember that? Oh,
I know, so
blowing it,
frustrating.
slamming it in there,
Right?
punching it down, pulling it back out. Alcohol and what do you call that?
I thought you said
Swabs?
that you liked
Mhm.
video games when you were little.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Timmy Keene was the opposite of that. A known psycho, he had a tendency to lose his mind on a regular basis.
What?
What?
It was an early lesson in God's
He said
cruelty,
idiot, Grandma.
giving the only Nintendo
Wow.
Jeez.
Jeez.
And
I would
sat
not.
there and watched Timmy Keene blast away an inch from the screen to his
How much do you think Nintendos were when they first came out?
Get my own Nintendo.
I don't know. I saw it a while back, like the comparison to like
Mhm.
prices now.
Right.
And
Because
I
now they're
think-
like 500-600, right?
Right, but I think it was equivalent. I just can't remember how much it was, but it had to be a couple $100 at least.
For weeks, I've been plotting how to get my parents to say yes to a Nintendo for
This
Christmas.
guy.
For Christmas?
Oh, a kid who thinks. How refreshing. Maybe you could
Ooh.
teach my students that.
Sure. But, just to make Christmas shopping a little easier for me this year, how about getting me a Nintendo?
Sure.
Normally, helping my dad with whatever half-baked renovation he was doing would be the last thing I wanted to do, but tonight, I was a man on a mission.
I'll be right in, Dad.
Wow, look at that. Finally wore you down.
My dad was something of a dyslexic Bob Vila.
Oh.
Dyslexic Bob Vila. That's not a good combination.
My father went to install a kitchen cabinet and had not stopped since.
done.
Wow, that was easy.
Look, they don't know how much a Nintendo costs.
did,
I
Dad.
guarantee.
They said yes.
I was on cloud 9.
But the problem
This
is,
over.
you
Ready?
need a Nintendo
Cool. Can I text
and you
Baby
need a
now?
TV. And usually the problem is you can't. Here's the problem when I was growing up. The thing
Mhm.
was, okay, the Nintendos, they cost a lot, but also you needed a TV. Unless you had money, you didn't have your own dedicated TV. So that was already that was another obstacle. Excuse me. Which means you'd have to be watching this or playing this when your family isn't, parents are watching TV and you're not at school or doing something that you're supposed to be doing. An additional issue is a lot of people were, I don't know if this is actually true, but they were very superstitious. A lot of adults were very superstitious of video games, thinking that they would make their TVs die quicker. I don't
Oh,
know if you
really?
ever heard that. You never
No.
heard that? Oh yeah, they were like, oh yeah, it destroys the, the well, it was cathode ray at the time, cathode ray televisions or whatever, but they're like, yeah, it just makes the colors go out and stuff like that. Because at the time, also TVs were well known to just like lose one color, so you just be like watching blue or red,
Right.
like that. So, you know what's also funny is that I wish I had this information before, like when I was a kid, but they came out with a bunch of studies indicating that people who played games on a regular basis had improved kind of like improved reflexes, improved problem solving
Hmm.
skills and stuff like that. There's a I'll try to find it. I read a bunch of studies on it, so it's and now we know that you can like you know our parents were always just like, oh, you can't stop playing video games, you got to study, get a job. Well, look at now you can have a job playing video games in
Yeah,
front
some
of it and
people.
people watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
whatever.
But I mean, that's
Boo.
that's the thing. Like, it's funny because like now I hear a kid, but yeah, I want to play video games for as a job. I'm like,
Hmm.
you realize it's like any other thing, right? Like,
Well, you got to put work
if you're
into
on
it.
a team, like they got practice every day. Like, you're playing like, or if
But
you're a
that's also
streamer,
something else, right?
right? If
Yeah,
you're a
if you're a
streamer, then you're
streamer.
then you're just literally just playing like 10 hours a
Yep.
day
Yep.
every day.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, you could be a streamer. So a lot of people that I watch are YouTubers. They stream as well, but they don't stream as much. They get money from streaming, but it's really their YouTube platform that kind of kicks off. So they just play. This one streamer I watch, he has two channels, so he just plays. He does play almost all day. He plays League of Legends and he plays almost all day to get two good videos, and they have to be around 45 minutes. Um, and then he also does streaming. So like it's not just,
Yeah,
oh, I'm video
right.
gaming.
And do
Like
you know how
this
hard
is
it is to play a game, play an interesting game,
mhm,
play the game in an interesting way, and
yeah.
also talk?
And comment. Yeah, that he mentions that too. He's
Right,
just
like
like
that
it's
is a
not
skill that's not easy to do because if I'm really in the game,
mhm,
then I'm
you're
not really
concentrating.
having anything interesting to say.
Right,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, or the game isn't interesting and I'm just talking, but then again, like who wants to watch that necessarily?
Right,
Like you
yeah.
might if the person is interesting, again, but you have to be an
Mhm.
interesting person.
Right.
Also playing the game and not just like losing, right?
Right.
Yeah, I get it, play it somewhat competently that someone wants to at least watch you play while you're talking,
Right,
right?
yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, it's not easy. It's not just hey, go
No.
out and do this. Like,
No. Nope.
You know, I ran into Mrs. Trotter at the Jewel today. Apparently, video games have been doing all kinds of strange things to children in Japan.
Oh, and then
For
there's
example,
that.
they get so involved, they completely forget about everything else. School, friends. One little boy had a brain aneurysm and stuff oozed out of his nose.
what?
I'm very
What?
glad that we do not have one.
But you said I could get one for Christmas.
I said nothing of the sort.
Video games make you fat, Jake. It's a fact.
Cabbage Patch Kids don't make you fat? No, no, no. Dad, you said I could have one too.
No, I didn't. Well, okay, I did. But I thought that it was an Asian tool brand like Makita. You know what?
Oh my
Should be
goodness.
playing outside.
Evan Olsen almost got frostbite from playing outside.
But did that really work with motion?
Probably very basically.
We thought he was just making excuses, being a sore loser. But we'd later realize a horror that defined our generation. The Power Glove sucked.
I'm sure.
I didn't. Yeah, like it's definitely above beyond its time. Before its time,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What?
A marble stuck in a nostril? Shattering mom's antique vase? Picnics in the frickin' park compared to
What?
this. For this, lying under the weight of a smashed 42-inch television set.
Hold on a second. I'm just
What?
imagining. Like I remember, back in the day, like sometimes a kid would just kind of go off, like
Oh
do
yeah,
something
yeah,
just
yeah.
completely stupid and ridiculous. Like it's like what are you doing? And then
Yep.
oh
I mean,
my good
learning
gracious.
how to control them emotions is rough times when you're a kid. Like I used to break my own stuff in anger. Like,
Yeah, and you get all hyped up, and all the
yep.
kids are like, yeah. Oh, that flying kick was so
But yeah, I was
amazing.
gonna say that flight. That's like a very what do you call that? Street Fighter.
Exactly.
You're wearing Katie Sorrentino's boots. They're
Oh my
mine.
goodness.
Who is Katie Sorrentino?
I don't even know.
Does anybody have some candy or like a nudie magazine or something?
knuckle tips if there's a dead squirrel back there again. I think we got ourselves a pair of girls' boots here. It's just a picture of a dumb wreath.
You gotta read it. This year's Xbox is a brand new
Can't
Nintendo
read.
Entertainment System.
But like, who would get it?
I mean, he's been pooping so much lately.
He has, hasn't he? You know how I know that? Because it still hasn't been picked up.
It snowed.
Hey, that's no excuse, okay? Tomorrow morning, you, that shovel, backyard.
No, I'm totally supposed to sell reeds all day tomorrow.
Well, too bad. And stop saying totally.
Our yard looked like a vanilla cake that someone dumped an entire bag of chocolate chips onto.
I mean, good
Ew.
gracious, dog.
She
Ew.
can't help.
He must never go pick this
You
up.
wanted the dog, you pick up after it.
Oh, he wanted the
Got the
dog.
before I was born.
Who wanted the dog is irrelevant, Jake. Just pick up the dang poop. Come here.
The quips, man.
Name. This was why I needed a Nintendo. This was my destiny. Nothing could stop me now.
Jake Stephen Doyle? Where is your sister?
He was playing a Nintendo.
God bless it, Jake.
You okay?
Why'd she have to say that?
You start playing those games, your brains turn to mush in like 3 minutes. That's your sister.
Like, it's funny how every generation wants to blame what happened on the thing,
Oh, always,
right?
always.
Like
Mm-hmm.
anything you're intensely interested in
Mm-hmm.
would have the exact same effect. It could have been a book, which
Oh, definitely.
it could be
But
TV.
I've heard that as well.
Yeah,
So,
it's whatever you have intense interest in
mhm.
can cause that effect
Right.
if you're
Mhm.
not careful.
Yeah.
Just so happens that video games are very interesting. I mean, granted, a lot of games now are designed to feed off of your need for dopamine and things, right?
Right.
Like a lot
Mhm.
of like the gambling mechanisms and things. So that to me
Right.
is a little bit different, right? Like that's the design of it is to addict you, not to
Mhm.
be fun.
Right.
Like if
Yeah.
it's so fun you can't stop playing, that's different than this thing's designed to addict me so I
Right.
don't stop playing.
Right. Short story. I was at
Mhm.
work and my coworker was complaining to me because her son loved video games. And she couldn't get him to like not like video games, right? And so she was like telling him to she was like, I'm gonna like throw it away. She'd like threaten him with it and stuff like that, blah blah blah. And I told her, oh, I don't know if she took my advice or not, but I was like, hey, I love video games. Excuse me, I've loved them since I was a kid, since they existed. It's just a really interesting um thing, right? But your kids' minds are developing. Obviously, they're going to be attracted. If this is something that they like and it's an intense like, obviously they're going to be attracted to it. Your job isn't to tell them that it's stupid, it's going to destroy their life or whatever, because you actually don't know if they can make a living off of that. So I told her, I was like, what you should be doing now. She's a parent. I am not. So you take this with
Very true.
with a
Very
grain of
true.
salt. But what, from a kid's point of view, because I remember being in that situation, the objective isn't. I think when you're raising kids, just in general, the objective is to teach them to use their own brains to kind of like evaluate the situation, um, and I don't know, kind of self teaching them to kind of self regulate.
Mhm.
Right now, obviously, the younger they are, the harder it's going to be, um, because they just don't have that mechanism, whatever. But it doesn't mean you don't start teaching them. And this is what my mom was doing with me. So we didn't have video games because we didn't have a TV. So
Mhm.
and she didn't like video games anyways. But when I started playing games on the computer, it was less. Oh, those games are bad for you, and more make sure that you learn to balance the video games with your schooling. You also need to get exercise for health reasons and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. And again, at the beginning, it was very difficult, but it's something that you have to learn. So you're not, and then obviously, if and obviously they're going, like I said, they're going to fail. So punishment could be taking it away for however long, a week or a day or a week or something like that, blah blah blah. But the objective is to get them to use their own brain to regulate it, just like anything else. You don't
Yeah,
abuse it, you just learn how to put it into the flow of the rest of your life, sort of thing.
right.
So
Now, again, certain things are more prone to kind of that dopamine hit. The video games are more prone to that than say a book,
mhm.
just because of the way it works.
Depending, that depends. I mean, I agree, but that depends just because of the eye movement and stuff like that with the video games. But books can be just as addictive, almost as just as addictive as video games. So, like for me specifically, if I get into, like, I was reading that Red, White, and Royal Blue book, I could not. I had a hard time. Like usually, if I'm reading a book, it takes me, I don't know, a month maybe, if that. But this book I read in the matter of, I think it was like a week, I think it was less than a week. And that was only because I had to do other things, right?
Yeah,
Like any other time. But it engaged my mind, my imagination so much that I was reading that rather than playing video games. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah, that reminds me. I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about dopamine and things like that. And this woman was like, she was a researcher with these things,
mhm.
and she herself got caught up, and it was books, and it was really these like
Nice. Okay.
romance books.
Yeah, yeah,
But
my grandma
she
used to read
first she was
those.
just kind of, oh, I'm reading the books because of the stories, but then
Mhm.
like she needed to get more and more intense with the books to keep getting that same high because she
Right.
was again in an addiction state. So then she
Yeah.
started just kind of getting more and more extreme books, and then it was more just reading the books just to get like speed read to get to those particular scenes
Right. Yeah,
and then
yeah,
get to a
yeah.
different book, right?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
then she was getting the ebooks. And why? Because the ebook, then no one can see what book you're reading, right? To
Oh,
like,
no,
so
okay.
so now they're not going to judge you. Like, are you reading
Right.
that book? So then she was just, then she could read more of them. So she
Mhm.
was like, slipping up on work with work and her
Yep.
family, and like
Yep. Mhm.
she just devolved into this thing,
Yep.
and it
Mhm.
wasn't even that she was enjoying the books anymore, right?
Right.
She
Yeah.
was simply reading the books to get that hit of those particular scenes that was kind of feeding this thing in her, right? And so
Right, yeah.
she was like, wait a minute. So she had to kind of come back off of that, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh shoot, like I'm not even reading the books because I like to read anymore. I'm
Right, yep.
simply just feeding this dopamine thing. And then
Right.
when I'm off the books, then I feel bad because I've been
Mm.
on this high and then I got to keep reading them. It was like,
Right.
so again, to
Yeah.
the point, like it can be anything,
Oh,
right?
definitely, definitely.
And it's just a matter of, knowing yourself and knowing your children and trying to help them again, regulate. And again, if they can't, then you got to help them with some boundaries, right?
Right, exactly,
Hey,
yeah.
only 2 hours
Mhm.
a day.
Right.
Again, I could keep telling my son, right? Like the boundary's only there because you did something to make me take notice of what's going on. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, little guy, you should have been watching your sister,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
hey, yeah, you want to play the game.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter what it was.
Right.
Your sister went missing and you were doing something else.
Mhm.
That thing is now the scapegoat. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, now let's talk about this because this is an interesting concept. If I'm a parent, I probably would be ignorant of this at the beginning. Be like, watch your sister, which is not something I don't think I would tell my kids to do because it's not their job. I think I would more ask them. I wouldn't. I don't think I would, but I'd also never been in that situation where I had to, right? So because it's just like if I had two kids, then I need to know how to take care of the two kids, right? Me, I need to learn how to raise them, not my other kids raising them, right? And they didn't volunteer to help, right? So like they didn't ask for a sibling, they didn't make the sibling, so that's a whole nother story. But anyways, the point is, if I asked them to watch the kid and I'm not paying attention to the fact that there's a Nintendo, even though this kid is like a free Nintendo there, even though this kid is has been asking for it forever. And then we just walk off without getting his confirmation. Although the dad did catch on. I was This is what the thought that crossed my mind too, because he came back and he was like, "Hey." Like look at me, like I'm
Right.
talking to you, sort of thing, which is I think is very important because
Mhm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It happens to me.
yeah,
My wife be like, "Didn't I tell you?" I'm like, "You what now? I don't." Mm. I'm like, "I believe you said something to me. Now
right, exactly.
I have no recollection.
You said something in my general direction.
I wasn't, like I wasn't here. You gotta get here."
Exactly. But so he did do that. But the thing is, so then he started playing the game, lost his sister, come back. Obviously, they're going to be upset because they're like, "What? Where's your sister?" But I believe that I'd be able to step back and analyze the situation and see where I went wrong as a parent. I'd be like, okay, he's been asking me. I would have thought about this because I think about everything, probably ADHD. But, anyways, I think about everything. I probably would have been like, okay, he's been asking for this. We've been telling him no. And now it's here. He doesn't have to buy it, and it's free access. So it makes more sense to me that he would gravitate towards this because taking care of his sister again isn't his job, and it's not a source of dopamine, right? So like, what are the two of you going to actually do, right? She's going to want to go and see whatever toys she wants, like try to find the Cabbage Patch Kids, or maybe, and he was going to want to play the video games. Which one is going to win out,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
So
to me, they would both be in trouble. Now, not in trouble like, "Oh, you're grounded for a week," but, like, you're gonna get a talking to, and I'm not happy with you, right?
right,
Because
okay,
you should have been watching her, right?
right, mm-hmm,
Now, if she stubbornly said, "I'm leaving," and you couldn't stop her, like, that's
right,
different, right?
yeah, that's true too,
And
yeah,
you're supposed to
just
stay with
walked
him,
off, yeah.
right? Like, you know full well you don't just walk away, you were
Hmm.
to be with him.
Right, yeah,
Right?
hmm,
So, both you guys are wrong. Now, you're still kids, so it's not like, okay, now you're grounded for 2 months because you
right,
wandered off, right?
hmm,
But, yeah, you should have been watching her, and yeah, you shouldn't have left.
right.
Do what you're supposed to do, right? Alright, well, I think we've, thoroughly discussed that. I
We
mean,
have,
oh
yeah.
my goodness. Well, look, since we're at a breaking point, we can drop this in
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Thanks as always to
Yes.
our patrons that help support what we do here. We always like to call out our visionary level supporters. We got Babs, Kate, Hot Space, and Abby. Thank you guys so much. We have good times in Discord. So if y'all want to join us and support what we do, we're at patreon.com/unofficially opinionated. Yeah, and if you just want to pop by and just say, hey guys, just a little thank you donation, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/unofficially opinionated and you drop a little $5 here or there, and that'll help support us.
Just would like to thank you all, everybody, all the subscribers, all the listeners. And this would definitely be in the YouTube thing, just because, um, like, we only started, what was it, 3-4 months ago?
Yeah, I want to
At
say, was
least
it
for
September, I think, this
this
channel?
channel,
Yeah.
yeah. And for a new channel, you all have helped us exponentially grow exponentially. Like, all of the numbers that we were looking at were just, they're like, oh, in a couple years or something like that, and you all have us almost at the threshold. So we were hoping for 500 subscribers by December. We didn't. I mean, by the end of December, we haven't quite reached that yet, but who knows? But in any case, we've gotten much farther along than we kind of um, like estimated. So thank you, like really, 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 thank you very kindly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to mention, like, yeah, like we didn't hit those targets, but what we didn't anticipate is one, the support in Patreon, right?
Yes,
We
yeah,
just didn't anticipate that. And we thank you guys so much for doing that. But also just like in the comments, right? Like how much you guys
yeah,
actually engage with us in the
yeah.
comments and
Mhm.
talk back to us and give your theories and ask questions. Like that's just been like one of the best parts of this. Is kind of
Yeah,
having fun with you guys in the comments and chatting back and forth and sharing our theories and things. So that has just been more than I had anticipated. So
yeah.
we're less on like the metrics, but like in every other way, this has just exceeded what we thought it was going to be, and so we're just super happy and appreciative of that.
Yeah, because you see how we discuss. We love discussing. We love talking, and so when you all are engaging with us, telling us, yes, new theories, fan theories, and stuff like that, like this is what we like. This is what draws. This is why we did the channel in the first place. This is why we started it. So yeah, he's absolutely right. It's great. This guy.
So relax.
Right.
I'm not a cop.
What about 21 Jump Street?
21 Jump Street.
Man, he's 11. Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, cops are crazy. You ever see RoboCop? That dude's half cop and half robot.
You ever see that movie?
My mom wouldn't let me, but my friend Mikey Trotter saw it.
Oh, yeah. He's good. You're good.
He's not a cop. Right? Come on. You gotta sell us some.
Sadly, the combined totals of the Hodges twins were only good enough for silver.
It's a globe.
A globe.
Wow.
World. All of it.
I want a globe, actually.
I used to love those things.
What?
Yes.
He straight threw it in the trash.
Are you ready, Jake?
But they knew it was a
Brand new set of World Book Encyclopedia.
Oh,
It was like winning more school.
World Book. So hold up, real quick.
No.
So, had I not been anticipating a Nintendo, that would have been a great gift for me.
Yo, definitely.
I was down because did you ever get like the free one? Like sometimes they'll give you like A for free, right?
Yeah,
Just to
no.
kind of entice you.
Mm-hmm.
I read that thing so much.
Yeah.
I used to love encyclopedias. So
I did too.
we
I
didn't
did
have
too.
internet. Like you wanted to learn stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could learn about aardvarks and all kind of
Yep.
stuff. And like, oh, wow, World Book.
Yeah.
Oh, they have the whole set. Oh,
Was World Book an actual set? Because we had
yeah.
Britannica.
Oh, it's like a bit of Britannica. Yeah, that was the World Book was the other one. Yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, but we never had any. We had encyclopedias, but none of them were like the name brand, which I always wanted. I always wanted the
Right.
name brand. But yeah, I used to love encyclopedias as well. Ours had all these pictures in it and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
so yeah.
so do you remember? Speaking of encyclopedias, I know. Just look, this whole thing's about nostalgia. So get over yourself. But do you remember Encarta? Microsoft had it was a CD. It was like a CD game.
Yes.
But like
Yes.
it was like had like quizzes and like it was
Yes,
like
I remember that. Yes.
Encarta. I remember playing that during like recess at school sometimes. Like
Really?
ugh.
I think I only played it. I think I only got to play it one time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if we ever had it at home, but I think we
Forever.
finally eventually did have it at home. But like Encarta was like so amazing.
And technology taking over our lives. It's only gonna get worse. It's all gonna go downhill from here. We've gotta stop it. We've gotta burn it all to the ground.
That's right.
Video, game over. Video, game over.
I do actually think that maybe you could.
Oh!
Wow, that was the. How did he do it on cue though?
Projectile.
Oh,
Oh God.
oh.
This was it. Victory was mine. I could taste it. Yes. No!
What'd I tell you? Oh, and he threw it into the street. Oh! Oh! And it was their
What?
Nah, I'm both like, no,
What's
whatever.
going on now?
That can't be good.
Another great Christmas. You know, every
Sir.
holiday that
He is just standing.
every holiday that I spend with you guys.
They can't even.
Got your name on it, Jake.
Yeah,
He'd
I
have
hope,
to
I
get
I
a-
hope it's like the U.S. version
Yeah.
because some of those games wouldn't work.
Come on. It has to be. It has to be.
Light?
Light bright.
Japanese light bright.
Wow. Light bright.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought it
it was a Nintendo.
That is that is so. This
Just
kid
making it
is
worse.
he's gonna end up with a Twitch.
This was a
Oh.
tragedy so great that I'd never go to
Light
prom,
bright?
never go to
Are you
college,
kidding
never
me?
leave the house. I'd become a 30-year-old balding man in his parents' basement.
Dad! The floodlights!
And there, high above the frozen dog poo that had become the bane of my existence, was the most beautiful structure I had ever laid my eyes on.
Whoa.
A tree fort. A
Nice.
I always wanted one of
spectacular,
those too.
solid wood
Mhm.
tree fort.
I kind of still want one.
Right?
Oh, it was breathtaking.
Does it have power run to
Oh,
it?
that's the thing that he was varnishing. I would just die. This would be so great.
So, Dad, the Nintendo was here in the fort, right? It was somewhere here.
'Cause that would be the point of the story.
Never got it as a present. I had to work for it. Spent a whole summer caddying at Prairie Pines Golf Course. Then Grandpa said I could buy my own.
Oh.
Our matching purple floral boots.
Katie Sorrentino. I would never.
Okay.
Turns out John Doyle was more than just a guy who yelled a lot and could never quite finish the kitchen. He was a magician. He was a hero. He was my dad.
But yeah, like yeah, just a lot of the nostalgic stuff and the Trapper
Yeah.
Keeper and all the little just the
Yep.
little stuff, the encyclopedia. It's all the stuff that I remember as a kid, like, you know,
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, I like the way it ended. Um I like what they did with his dad. I think that was really touching. And
Yeah.
I do like that he didn't get the Nintendo.
Yeah,
Like
I was
some people
expecting
might
it,
dislike
but
that, but
mhm.
I like that.
Yeah. No, I do too because I like him. He's like, I had to work for it, and I was
Also, just know, children that are watching, right? Like, if you worked all summer to earn the money for it, like, that's definitely going to help your case,
yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
if you're willing to do work, right,
Mhm.
to get it, not just whine that you want it, right? Like, that also helps your case with it. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie
And our
or
commentary,
enjoyed our commentary, or both,
or both.
or neither. But glad you watched it, regardless. All right. Well, I'll just say from my family to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Happy New Year.
Mm,
Um,
how you doing?
yeah, we'll see you.
Ciao.